Hi, BookTube. Welcome to Jackie's Literary Corner. I am Jackie, and it's time for another literary update. So, as you can see from hopefully the thumbnail, I'm focusing my attention on Warbreaker because it's a tome. It definitely counts as a tome, and it's tome topple this week and next week. And finale, by Stephanie Garber. This is not technically a tome, but I'm counting as something having shininess on the cover for Medievalathon, which I think that's it's for wardrobe, and I think, or it might be, I don't remember which prompt. I want to say it's for wardrobe, but the prompt of the dress that has kind of like the breastplate on it and all that, but I don't know. I'm not understand. I have to look that up and look at maybe look at Holly's Instagram and check what the shiny prompt is. I mean, a book that's shiny. But this is the third and final book in the Caraval series, and oh my god, it's driving me nuts, and I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, because I just get so angry. I'm one of those people who, like, instead of, like, you have those people who yell at the screen and be like, don't do that, don't go in there, don't go in that room. Well, I do that with books. I mean, I still do it with movies and TV shows, but I also do it with books. I'm, like, yelling at the page and be like, and I'm just so frustrated. I love both Scarlett and Tella, but I also am very frustrated with them. Like, which most people prefer Donatella over Scarlett because she's so fun and spontaneous and passionate, and she's willing to do these brave things. And Tella is a little more. Scarlett is a little more cautious, and I think it's because I kind of relate to Scarlett, and I could see myself being the more cautious one. Although, as you know, I've grown over the years, sometimes I would like to believe I could be like Donatella, but I don't know, and I will probably never find out because I will never be in a situation like in a fantasy book like this. But, so the first book is essentially about these two sisters who live on an island with their cruel father, and their mom died years ago, and so the two of them have always had dreams of going to this legendary place called Caraval, which is like a carnival performance thing where there's always some kind of game that the people that go to Caraval have to participate in, and you can't trust what you see or who you talk to. And Scarlett has always dreamed about going to this. Both girls have written to legend constantly, but as they've gotten older, Scarlett has moved on and has grown up and no longer believes in Caraval, or believes it's. And their father has arranged a marriage for her to this guy named Nicholas Darcy, and they will continue, and they've continuously exchanged letters. But Donatella, who's not as trusting when it comes to love and is always suspicious of it, she decides to get her sister out of this marriage, even though her sister thinks it will save them, even if it's someone that her father recommended. Donatella decides to get her out of this marriage by writing one last time to Legend and maybe thinking that they can go to Caraval and that will get her out of the marriage. And Legend actually responds, and she ends up meeting this guy named Julian who's a sailor, and he offers to take them to Caraval because he knows about Caraval. And they are forced to kind of trick Scarlett into going with them, but when they get there, Donatella is kidnapped. And the game, in this particular game, Scarlett and Julian must race against the clock to save Donatella because she is the prize at the end. And it's not, like I said, it's nothing is what it seems. It's all these games and tricks and questions, things that she has to figure out, puzzles she has to solve. And it's a very fun, really fun, interesting, trilogy story. I've always been a fan of this kind of like playing games and solving a puzzle and stuff like that. I've always thought that was a really cool concept, and it does have elements. I feel like it does kind of, in a small way, remind me of the Night Circus in the sense of the game, but that's the only thing that they have in common is they both kind of have a game involved, and of course there's romance. But that's about it. I don't like when people are like, I know that in most cases, a lot of times it's a marketing tool, but when people compare a book that's just coming out, they're like, oh, it's the next Hunger Games, or it's the next Harry Potter, or the next, or or it's like Game of Thrones for young adults. I don't like that because and it's because if they have like one similarity to something like that, then it's like, oh, people are gonna go crazy, and then when they read it and find out, oh, it's nothing like that, and they get disappointed, and it just kind of annoys me. So I don't want to say it's anything like Night Circus, but it does have the common denominator of that it involves a game at like a carnival-esque type setting, and there's romance, but that's about it. There's nothing else really that they have in common. In fact, I feel like the love interest, there's distrust and tension between the love interests more so than Marco and Cecilia. The two of them, I think they trust each other more than the couple, the romances in here. But there is, like I said, it does have romance, which that always drives me nuts because I like it and then I hate it at the same time because I just get so frustrated and annoyed with the characters and just roll my eyes all the time because the characters, I feel like they're being dumb. And even as scary, the love interest in this trilogy, I want to set them down and be like, no matter how, even if they're powerful and scary, I want to be like, you guys, you're being dumbasses and you need to, like, get it together and stop with this whole giving reason for there to be distrust between you. It just annoys me so much. Like I said, I also like the whole setting, the Caraval setting. I think it's really cool, and I would love to go. If Caraval was a real place, I would almost love to go. I mean, of course, the scarier aspects, I don't know if I would want to deal with those because there are some scarier aspects in the story. Like I think people could actually die in Caraval. Not necessarily the players, not necessarily the actors, the performers. Which it kind of reminds me of Disney World, too. Because everyone's putting on performance. And it's just this whole world on this island, on their own little island. And of course, each book, the stakes get higher and higher, which makes it even more interesting and also frustrating and nerve-wracking too, like nail-biting, nerve-wracking kind of feeling. And so the first book is from Scarlett's perspective. The second one is Donatella's perspective, so that's kind of spoiler-proof that you don't have to worry about something happening to Tella. So that's a little bit of a spoiler. And then this one is actually both their perspectives, which makes sense because now they're both like involved in the game. They're not just one trying to find the other or trying to win the game. They kind of are playing the game together. And there's a really scary part just now that was really creepy that I would love to see on screen at the same time where someone freezes this family, and so to save them and unfreeze them, they had to tell a truth that was a lie, that they reveal a lie that they gave, that which I would love to see that scene because it's so creepy. It would just be so creepy to see. And they kind of kept picturing them looking like statue, like wax figures, even if they're, and it's scary because they're also real people. They're alive. They were just frozen like that by some evil person. I'm trying not to reveal too much, but I thought that scene was really cool and really creepy. And I will say this: we didn't meet Nicholas. We thought we met Nicholas, but we did not meet him in the second book. But we're now meeting him now, and it's just like, and I kept thinking like, damn it, why go away? You're not important. Because now once again we kind of have a bit of a love triangle. It's like no. Although in the second book we kind of had one too, because someone was flirting with and two guys are fighting over Tella. So it's like, they're not really fighting. Like it's not like don't worry, it's not like a situation like Twilight or Hunger Games kind of situation, but because like both guys are a lot smoother and charming and less like. In fact, actually, the current love triangle makes me more think of Jacob and Edward and how they are with Bella than anything. The current love triangle that has just been established. Just to warn you, I know that a lot of people have issues with love triangles, especially and if they're anything like the Twilight situation, or even Although I was okay with the Hunger Games because I kind of like it. Sometimes it's a relief when it's like the two guys are not like, fist pounding and all up in up in each other's space, and there's no like obvious wanting to beat the crap out of each other and fighting each other kind of mentality over the girl. Like it's not they're not there's no it's not as active. It's more focused on the girl's situation and what she's having to do, not just with the love triangle situation. But anyway, but I also like that every book there's like a game, like they have to play a game in a way. In this one, it's just been established there's going to be another game that the girls have to play. What do I want to say about this so far? I read the first 10 chapters. Like I said, it's from this go back and forth with perspectives. And I'm guessing what it seems to be doing is that like you have a few chapters where it's one sister's perspective, and then the next few chapters are the other sisters. So, which I mean, a lot are going on between the two sisters anyway. So they're both dealing with a lot of problems. And as frustrating as it is, I cannot blame them for acting the way they are towards the guys, because like I said, there is a bit of a romance for Donatella as well. But I can't entirely blame them either for the way they're acting towards them. And I guess if I were in their position, there would also be some distrust there and anger. But I'm also rooting for the couples to make it work. And I did to make myself feel a little bit better and less. And I mean, although when I'm reading it, I still get frustrated. But I did that thing. I'm just as bad as my best friend. It's one of my best friends, which is that where she will look ahead just to make sure, or she would have to find out ahead of time if the couple's going to be okay, if things going to work out for them. But I mean, to me, my excuse is that like I normally don't read a lot of I don't focus on romances that much. I mean, I do focus on them because clearly I do because I get mad and frustrated. But I don't just read the books for the romances. Like I love the whole setting and the game aspect. I think that's really cool and really creepy. This one, along with Lunar Chronicles, I want to see on screen, even like it's a TV show or a movie or something. And not like I want live action. Like I'm one of those people like I just watched Daniel Green's video where he did kind of like one of his debates where people put in their send him their unpopular opinions, and he says if he agrees or disagrees and talks about why. And I think one of them brought up they would love to see an animated adaptation of something. Like I think it actually had to do with like anime. Oh, it was talking about they're remaking Avatar: The Last Airbender. And I make sure I call it that because whenever you say Avatar, apparently people think of the Avatar by James Cameron and not Avatar as the anime show. But they're remaking it because the M. Night Shyamalan movie did not do so well. A lot of Avatar fans and Avatar: The Last Airbender fans were not happy with that movie. He did apparently a really bad job. I thought it was kind of cool and I didn't care because I'm not a fan of that cartoon. Or that anime, I should say, because I don't know people get mad if I call it a cartoon. So I didn't care as much. I thought it was pretty cool, but I mean, apparently it didn't do that well, and it was kind of disrespectful to the original anime show. So someone's remaking it, and it's going to be a live action like M. Night Shyamalan's movie. And I'm gonna put this down now because I'm technically not talking about that at the moment. So they're talking about, and someone made a comment how they think it's a mistake to make it live action. Daniel Green was saying, I disagree, and that I think live action is better sometimes, which I totally agree with. I think because live action, you get the real, it really brings it to life. It's real, it's tangible, it's not just a drawing or a computer animated thing. It's real, it's us doing something, doing these physical. And it's a lot. It presents a different. I'm not gonna say it's more challenging because I feel like animation and computer technology has its own challenges. It's just as challenging in a different way. So that's it's a different kind of challenge when it's live action because it's real people, and there are limitations. You can't, like, with animation or computer animation, you can create things like dragons and powers and all that, but with live action, you have to rely on green screen or computers and, and using your own imagination. But it presents another kind of challenge. It's more real because it's more tangible to the audience, at least to me, and I guess to Daniel Green as well. It's real. It's literally real. So getting a real adaptation of this, real live action, and not just the anime. Now, I don't know if people want, although now people have not brought up adaptations of this anyway, of this trilogy. So I don't know if people would want that or not. But if there's an adaptation for this, I want it to be live action, because I think live action is more appealing to me. I mean, I love cartoons. I'm a Disney. You're talking to a girl who loves Disney's animated Disney, their original stuff, not just their live action stuff. But sometimes I love that kind of the animated stuff more so than the live action Disney. Except for now. I'm one of the few people that apparently really loves the live action movies so far. I think a lot of people. Now, I have not seen Lion King, and I know people have criticisms. Now, Terry herself loved it, thought it was great. I mean, she could see the point, because I told her some of the criticisms that people who've seen the live action Lion King have said, and she said I could see their point, but I personally enjoyed it. As in her, she enjoyed it. So I don't know how I'm going to feel about it. I'll probably enjoy it either way. I mean, maybe part of me will want to be like, I should think more critically of this and not enjoy it as much. But I don't know if I'll ever see it, because we're not going to, I don't know if we're going to get Disney Plus, because it's not as important to mom and dad as it would be to me. I mean, I would be tempted to offer to pay for it if we got Disney Plus. But, because my parents pay the cable and stuff. The only thing I do is pay them a sort of rent. But I have thought about that. I have thought about, like, there's times when I would like us to have something that costs something, or subscribe to something, a subscription of something like a book subscription box, or last night I was just thinking about Audible, subscribing to that, but I have not done it yet, but anyway, I thought about offering to pay for Disney Plus. And it's also, and it doesn't just have kids stuff. It also has things like sports stuff, and like ESPN, and it has like, they own a lot of companies. Disney owns a lot, like ABC, Star Wars. That owns the Marvel stuff. They don't own DC, thankfully, because then it would. What the appeal of DC Comics is that it's very dark and edgy. And I think people, while Marvel is a little more open to be lighthearted, it still can get dark and edgy, but it's not. But I have to admit that DC is a little bit more edgier and darker. I'm gonna put this down. Okay, so I am also focusing on I'm also getting back into Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. It's so frustrating because there are times when I'm like, oh, I should read a different genre and try another one of the genres I really enjoy instead of reading a whole bunch of fantasy. Because I don't want to get into that trap as much as I love fantasy. I don't want to just read fantasy because I love other genres. It's just fantasy is my favorite genre. But I also want to get this one read so I can finally get to Way of Kings. And I'm liking this book. It's just I'm also thinking, oh, I should also start some other books that are from different genres. Like read some of my classics, or read some of the Kate Warren books I've started. And then there are some books like, the next book in the Wheel of Time series, The Great Hunt. I keep, Jennifer Brooks just reminded me that I want to start that and get back into it, because I want that to be, my series that how my friend at the time, back in high school, middle school, one of my best friends was Lord of the Rings was her thing, and she had all this merchandise for it, and it's like, I want that for me. I want something to be my special series, which I know is weird, but I'm an insecure person. But anyway, so far it's really great. I like this, and I like this magic system better than Elantris. Oh, I still loved Elantris, but I kind of think this magic system is more appealing to me. Like the whole idea of colors and breath and stuff, I think that's really cool. course, it doesn't matter because Van Sander, all his magic systems are really cool. I mean, he's so creative with them and comes up with something different for each of his books, which is very impressive, and I would love to be able to do that, but, so I don't know if this is supposed to be, I wonder if this is supposed to be Vivenna or Ciri, or maybe both. I don't know which sister it's supposed to be on the cover. But other art, I noticed that this image has been used in other places as well. But anyway. So, let's see, where are we? So, we have Vivenna. I don't know if I'm saying her name right. She is still working with the mercenaries. They're trying to sabotage things for the gods. And she has approached, and there's, after some of their reckless meetings with some of these other people, these merchants and nobles and stuff, she is left alone with Jules because this one meeting kind of fell apart. So Tonkfa and Deneth are trying to check on things, and so she's alone with Jules and the lifeless creature, Claude, I think his name is. And she already has heard that Jules, her breath as a little girl was taken from her, so she's automatically, Vivenna's like, oh, poor girl. But when she talks to Vivenna gets all defensive. It's like, no, I was willing to do that. I wanted to do that. It's an honor to do that. So don't feel sorry for me. Don't act like you care. You know, and she's like, basically, oh, that's the problem with you Iridians. I could say it great in my head, but I can't say it out loud. Iridians, is that you're all like, you judge us, but you also act like you care about us and you're sympathetic to us, and but you don't know, you don't understand. And of course, the Vivenna, she probably thinks, oh, this girl is brainwashed. And it's hard to tell the difference because if your religion is different from theirs, and there's things about their religion that not only you don't understand, but to you they look bad. You know, they look morally bad. It's like you automatically assume this person must be brainwashed, or that they don't know what they're saying or what they're talking about. But to Jules, her religion, nothing is wrong with her religion. She supports it. She thinks it's great. It just blurs the line. It provides an interesting blur of the line between beliefs and which belief is the correct one. Like, is there really, I mean, in fact, there's really not a correct one. We all believe so differently. But it provides a very interesting contrast, and to see her struggle. I mean, and Vivenna still has not used her breath because she's still afraid, because she still sees it as wrong, because you're taking the life force of someone else. And she's always butting heads with these guys, and which I really like. Although I like Tonkfa and Deneth, I like their characters. They're fun, but they do that thing that, you know, I love this kind of character who hides behind the humor with their fears and their seriousness and and their anger. They hide it behind their snarkiness and humor. I always find that very interesting. That's what Deneth and Tonkfa, I hope I'm saying that right. That's what it feels like they do. They hide behind humor and lightheartedness and like devil may care attitudes. Their real feelings. Which I kind of feel like Legend is doing the same thing. In Finale, I feel like he's hiding behind his carefree. And the same thing with Julian. I would love to see this story from their perspective. Although if Stephanie Garber did what Stephenie Meyer is currently doing, I would be a little annoyed, because it's like, you said you were going to do it before, and now it's like years later. Now you decided to write this. And I don't really care as much anymore. I mean, it was like, oh, now you're finally doing it? It's like, and the small part of me, the teenage part of me is like, oh, now, finally. But then another part of me is like, more adult part of me is like, really? Now, after all this time, you're gonna do it now? You're gonna write Midnight Sun? I would rather get the sequel to The Host, if anything. Because I definitely think that one is better than Twilight. And yes, I did it. I said that something's better than Twilight. But I'm not talking about the love story. But anyway, so we also get the one of our perspectives is Light Song, and Light Song is he was, which this part is funny because he's playing this game with some of the other gods, and he doesn't know how to play yet. He's kicking their butts. And so I don't know if they're letting him, but they're kind of telling him you win and you don't even know how to play. How is that possible? And it's just really funny. And while at the same time, they're talking serious about they don't like the Iridians and they don't trust the new queen who's an Iridian. They want to get rid of her. And because Lightsong has met her and he feels sorry for her and doesn't think she's a bad person, he is worried about these guys, so he finally decides to work with Blushweather because she's been pestering him to join her and to pick a side and make a choice and do something. So he's finally agreeing to join her and join her cause and support her. But he also doesn't entirely trust her because she's very manipulative. So the two of them, they find out that I think her name was Mercy Star. Her home was attacked and a servant had been killed, and so they go to talk to her and find out what's wrong, and she's of course all distraught and said, I cannot believe this would happen to me, and I'm a god and all that, and of course Blushweaver is like, oh well, it was probably the Iridians who did this, only they would be capable of this, but Lightsong is like, I don't know, I don't think so. And in fact, he decides to go back and investigate, especially when he finds out a servant was killed. And he's actually starting to feel sympathetic, and he's starting to really care, even though he's like, what's wrong? I shouldn't care. Why would I care? But he does it anyway. And of course, Blushweaver's all mad. Is like, you should be paying attention to me. Why do you care about this poor peasants and servants? It's just one servant that got killed. Who cares? You should be paying attention to moi. And she's of course all mad as he walks away, and he goes and talks to the servants. And things are a little weird. And I know a couple chapters before, it was Vasher who showed up. He decided to burglarize her house, and he awakened a shirt. I think it was a shirt to choke someone. He awakened it to become a rope, and he had it choke someone and he knocked a couple people out, and then I don't remember what happened to cause a servant to die. I don't know if in the chapter when we were doing with that part, I don't know if we see that part, I can't remember. And then we have Ciri. We're back with Ciri, and she has been teaching the God King to read, because apparently he can't read. He never learned to read, and not only that, but he had the priest cut out his tongue so he couldn't use steal breath and everything. And this happened because, Ciri found out, that they can't watch her, but they can hear her. So she's decided to make all the sex noises and make it seem like they're doing something, and by moving around and screaming and all them be like, oh yeah, and I'm talking about how it feels so good. And the Susbron, the God King, approaches her, and she's like all of a sudden freaking like, oh my god, what he's finally gonna do? He's finally gonna attack me, sexually. And he approaches her, but then he presents her with a book of stories, and basically in so many words he tells her he can't read, and he can't talk either, which I don't know. I've seen stories. There's one, there's more examples where the people without tongues don't talk, but then in the Mummy movies, the one with Brendan Fraser, the mummy steals that one guy's, his tongue and eyes, and he's but the guy still is able to still talk when in the one scene when he's talking to the mummy who's in the Imhotep who's disguised, and although it doesn't matter because he can't see him, they're talking and stuff, and he's still able to talk. But you can't really understand him that well, but he's still able to communicate, even though he doesn't have a tongue anymore. But it's a little hard, of course. So I don't know if that means that people without tongues can actually talk or not. I mean, most examples are seen in this book, and then in the Pirates movies when Captain Jack Sparrow is getting the crew together, and he meets that old man with the parrot that speaks for him. And, he reveals that he got his tongue cut out, so he can't talk, so he talks to the parrot. or the parrot talks through him. But like I said, there's that one scene in The Mummy where that guy can talk without his tongue. So I don't know if that means, but if you really can't talk, or maybe you don't even bother talking because people won't understand you, so maybe you can talk. But the whole her teaching him how to read reminds me of a scene in Beauty and the Beast. It was added when the DVD of the animated movie was released. There's a scene that was added where Belle teaches him how to read. They're reading Romeo and Juliet, which in the live action she mentions is her favorite play. And she talks about it in the beginning of in the scene when we first meet Belle and she's going through visiting the village and going to see the priest to get another book. And then it was originally in the Broadway show. And it's an adorable scene. It's really sweet, like he gets all excited and is like, and you feel bad for him because he can't read. And so as a reader, you feel bad and you think it's really sweet that they bond over this. But then at the same time, I'm thinking, like, that doesn't make any sense that he can't read. He's a prince. But in this case, it does make sense that he can't. Because he was just a guy who was given this position. He was thrown when he was returned. He became powerful. And he was given this job to be the God King because I guess he was so powerful. So they automatically make him the God King, and he is given this job. So so with this one, it makes sense. I mean, I'm fine. He might have been originally a peasant or something, a lower class person, and then he comes back and they're like, oh, you should be the God King because you're so powerful. So with that, it's fine. It makes sense. But in the Beauty and the Beast thing, it doesn't make any sense. It's a cute scene. I don't have a problem with the scene. It's really sweet, and I find it adorable how the Beast in both the in the Broadway show, he gets really excited, especially when she's like, I want to ask you something. Would you like to offers to try having dinner together again? He gets so excited. He's like, yes. It's kind of cute. He's like a teenage boy. Trying to impress his first girlfriend, and it's like really sweet and adorable, but at the same time it doesn't make any sense that he doesn't know how to read, because you would think he would be taught to read. But anyway, yeah, I bring that up because it reminds me of that a little bit. But anyway, so that's all I really got. That's as far as I got in the book so far. But I that's why I decided to read Caraval, because it wouldn't take me so long, and I wanted to complete another prompt for the Medieval-thon, which is this one. And this is also one that I'm gonna see if my cousin Mackenzie is interested in this trilogy, so I want to get it read now. I figure now is a good opportunity because we're stuck at home, and the only time I leave the house is to go to work, or my parents decide to go for a walk or something. And then I sit outside. So I figured I better get started now, so that, because if I don't start now, then time might get away from me, and then by the time we go to visit, we're able to go visit them, it will be here before you know it, and then I might not have read the book yet, the trilogy. But that's interesting. Especially because he kind of cheated and let myself get spoiled. Sorry, there's something I was reading on here that may reveal something. But then we already met that character. But anyway, so that was interesting. That's interesting. I kind of but I don't know. But anyway, so that is what's going on with my reading right now. What I feel like I need to do is every day need to read like 10 chapters a day. And this actually is as long as, I just realized this might be the same length as A Curse So Dark and Lonely. I just realized that it might be the same amount of chapters. So maybe if I try, I can get it. It will take me the same amount of time that took me to read that one, which wasn't a terrible amount of time. It wasn't like only a couple days. It was like probably close to a week, I think. Let's see. okay, I gotta stop letting myself get distracted while I'm filming anyway. So I also need to focus on, I need to get back to Barchester Towers. I have not started this one, but as you can see, I'm not even halfway in this one, but I need to read it soon. I need to get like to the halfway point soon, at least by the end of the month, even if I don't finish this by the end of the month. I would like to. And the next chapter we are going to read, I think it's 20. I think that's 20 for me in the Roman numeral, not right. It's the double X. So I don't know. I think that means 20. But we're going to meet Mr. Arobin, who is the guy that Dr. Grantley told Harding about, that they're thinking we can make him an ally of ours, or maybe we can make him an ally of ours. And I wonder if he's going to prove to be another potential romance for Eleanor. If he's going to be a potential love interest for her. But I know we're gonna we have two guys are both after her for, the fact that they know she's rich and wealthy. And then we have not met this other guy who I think is going to also be a suitor for her. But anyway, I need to read a little bit more, but I'm trying, but like I said, I want to get finale read. I want to get that one read soon. I want, because I need to. And I think I wasn't going to, but I think I'm going to bring this. I'm going to go sit outside. After I finish filming this, I'm going to sit outside and read this one, and then also read this one as well. The time always goes by too fast on days off. Because it's like almost noon, and then I'm going to want to stop for lunch, get something to eat. Eat something for lunch, or at least snack on something. And then, I'm going to, at the rain, I'm going to go for my run, but I also want to watch the videos on BookTube. Time just goes by so fast, especially when you only have one day off. Because I volunteered to work tomorrow. Although it's not that long. I mean, I have to get up early, but, it's only a 4-hour shift. And I think all I'm going to be doing is sanitizing the carts, which is fine. And then it's a 3-hour shift on Thursday as well. I mean, which I'm not going to, normally is not supposed to be my short schedule, but I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to make sure I'm going to be, I'm probably going to clarify when I go in tomorrow. I'm going to, because I always feel like I have to clarify and check and make sure I'm doing the right thing, the thing I'm supposed to be doing. So what I'll probably do is after I get my temperature and stuff, I'm going to go in there and be like, ask them like, okay, so this is what I need to do, right? So I need to so this is what I'm supposed to be doing, washing the carts and stuff. Like, I'll clarify that. And then, because, but yeah, so I'm going to be sanitizing the carts on Wednesday and Thursday, and then I'm off for the weekend, which is good, because I do not want to work on Sunday. Because that's my birthday, and I don't want to be working on my birthday. So, and then I don't know, I might be off all next week. Because that's when my parents are supposed to take their vacation. Which I have mixed feelings about that, because on the one hand, I'm not going to lie and say I don't like having the day off, having some time off. But then at the same time, I'm like, I know that's not right. I should probably work at least once, a couple days. But I'm not going to, unless they ask me, I'm not going to probably say anything. If they ask me, then yeah, maybe I'll pick a day where I can work. But I would rather use that time to read my books and stuff like that, and just chill and sleep in and all that. But so my focus will be these two books, but I will probably be more prone to get this one book done, which is okay, because at least it means I've read 3 books. I mean, I know I still got time, but I got into panic mode the other day, because I know that this book and this one are taking a little longer than I hoped for, but that's because I'm reading multiple books at the same time. Okay, that's not good. But this one shouldn't take me as long if I read 10 chapters per day. Then I could probably get it done. Let me check. Am I right? Did it say 59 in this one too? Actually, Curse of Darkling might be 58. Let me just check. Trying not to read the page. What's on the page? Because I've already done it once. Twice, in fact. How many chapters? No, I'm trying not to read the pages. I'm so tempted to read it. Okay, so yeah, 59 chapters. Okay, so I think that's the same amount of. Actually, no. What's it called in my head? 58 chapters. I don't know, but either way, it's pretty close to being the same length. Even if it was 58 chapters in the other book and 59 this one, is pretty close. Although I think it did have 59 in Curse So Dark and Lonely. I don't know. I would have to double check that, but it doesn't matter anyway. Either way, I think they were pretty close in length. So either way, I need to read 10 chapters, 10, 20 chapters a day. So I need to get this one read, and I will read this one. I will continue to read this one, and this one on and off. This one being these two. Okay, so finally I'm now going to actually shut up and stop talking and talk to you guys later. So, please don't tell me the part. Sorry, So if you guys like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, click subscribe if you haven't already, and click the bell notification below to see when I post new videos. I hope you're enjoying your reading. And stupid shark keeps yelling my. I hope you are enjoying your reading, and I will talk to y'all later. Alright, bye!